call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Dustin Stoltzfus takes on Kelvin Gastelum this Saturday on the main card of UFC Noche. And Dustin Stoltzfus, 33 years old, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach, 16-8 in his career. 33 years old, still in his prime. Jiu-Jitsu and Luta Libre black belt. Pushes a high pace with a lot of pressure. Not the best striking, but does put a lot of volume out there with his punches, his kicks. Has power in the hands, good kicks to the body. Just not the most polished stand-up. Wings punches. Really commits to his strikes, trying to hurt guys, but just kind of seems a step behind at times. Really just uses his striking to set up his grappling, but very tough. Kind of has an iron will, doesn't really give up, never really stops fighting, so got to respect him for that. But taking on Kelvin Gastelum, who's also 33, 5'9" with a 71.5-inch reach, 19-10 in his career. Kelvin Gastelum going to be 3 inches shorter and giving up a 3.5-inch reach advantage. I guess he's kind of given up on making that welterweight cut, where I think that he could, have a lot more success than he will at middleweight. We did see him get kind of dominated by Sean Brady, but Sean Brady's elite, probably going to challenge for a title soon. But southpaw striker. Really good boxing, good hand speed, good forward pressure, good movement. Often uses his counter lefts and his looping hooks to kind of catch guys. Thrives in the chaotic kind of back and forth exchanges. Been in a few barn burners back in his day, but really tight, fluid combinations like the one that he landed on Michael Bisping back in the day. Has good distance control using his movement and footwork. Comes from a wrestling background, wrestled in high school, and was a JUCO wrestler. He's a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so no slouch on the ground, but very tough, granite chin, extremely durable. He was dropped bad early in his fight against Joe Pyfer. I think he was dropped twice in that fight, and was able to survive and kind of start to take over as that fight progressed. Had a really good second round. You could argue that he won and definitely won the third round. So lost his last fight, but had a really good showing against a very dangerous guy in Joe Pyfer. So I'm going to go with Gastelum. Even though he is soft-bodied, has small legs, taking on a guy like Dustin Stoltzfus, who's big, he's dense, he's very strong. He's a natural middleweight, unlike Kelvin Gastelum, but I just think Gastelum has the cardio and doesn't cut weight, obviously, so he's able to take some punishment, able to push a high pace. I think he can push a high pace over 3 rounds with his striking and his grappling. I think he really only needs to be concerned with Dustin Stoltzfus' takedowns. I don't think he needs to be concerned about the hands, really. I think he's got the movement and the technical ability and the chin to kind of deal with what's coming his way. And I think he can kind of utilize his bouncy style, his good movement, his angles to avoid the grappling of Stoltzfus. So he's had decent takedown defense in the past, has been taken down a few times, but that was against like Sean Brady and Robert Whitaker, which really kind of hurt his takedown percentage, which is 58%. But Kelvin Gastelum, he's just a much better striker, much crisper hands, better footwork, just much more polished than Dustin Stoltzfus, I think. So I think he'll be tagging Dustin on the feet, using his angles, using his quickness to kind of stay out of the clinch, stay out of the takedown trouble, be the one pushing forward against Dustin, kind of keeping him on the heels where it's harder for him to shoot takedowns. And, I can see a scenario where Dustin does use his size, his wrestling, to kind of control the fight in the clinch, get his takedowns and do enough to win a decision or maybe find a submission. But I think Gastelum, he'll be the one winning the striking exchanges, being able to kind of keep it on the feet long enough to win a decision in this one. He's got power. I don't know if he can knock out Dustin Stoltzfus, just because he's shown a really good ability to take punishment and keep going. But I do think Kelvin Gastelum will do enough to win this one by decision. Thanks.